Hey, greetings YouTube! Welcome to another performance reviews video. This is kind of going to be just kind of a basic review and overview of the much talked about Sebo K3. And I say much talked about because we all know that you saw somebody recommend this to you on Reddit, and that's why you're looking at it. And the Sebo K3 is one of those machines that they told us was going to be retired, then they said it wasn't going to be retired, and basically it's the budget canister from Sebo. Now, the head is the same ET1 power head, or you can get the ET2 power head that they've been using forever. Excellent head. But some of this other stuff is kind of funky, and I want to talk about that because it is a unique design. So let's talk about the canister design first, of what you're getting and what's on the body of the canister. First of all, we notice that the hose is over to the side. So, and the power switch is kind of in a strange place. So let's talk first about filtration and what's on here in terms of the machine. So it's on casters, which allows it to maneuver very easily. Now if you pull this open, so we've opened the back compartment, and you can see now why the hose is not in the middle, because the bag right here, easy enough, just slides in and out of there, is off to the side. Now there's a couple things of why they did this. This bag design is a working bag design. This is the same sort of style of bag that they've used on their commercial uprights for years. So that's why they fit it in there like that. And that makes sense. Make one bag if it works, and this definitely works. Now the other thing about the Sebo bag is it does come with a plastic cap to cover this up. And when you see those, and you get those in the bag, and this is something that's going to confuse a lot of people. I'm going to open a box of bags, because people see this daisy wheel of caps, and these caps seal up so you don't have to breathe the dust. Kind of a cool thing. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is this mechanism. So if we try to put this on without the bag attached, it's not going to happen. So you have to have the bag slides right in here, and you see what happens is when that cover goes up, it's actually lifting the bag up, and that allows that to shut. Now the other thing that's in here, and this bag door comes off like that if you needed to, is you have the pre-motor filter, which is really an odd shape, but this keeps the motor alive for a long time. Sebo's been doing this shape. It's very efficient in airflow, and it's rather inexpensive to make, which means the expendables on the Sebo are a little bit less than, say, its competitors like Miele or something like that. Now the other filter, while we're on the subject of filters, is up here. It's right there. And the way that they sell these things is you can buy them in a kit with the bags, or you can buy them separately. And the prices are going to vary. You can check Amazon and see what the price is on that, though I would encourage you to go to your local Sebo dealer. Now on the body of the canister right here, we see an upholstery tool, but we also notice it's not a round fitting. And the reason for that is Sebo hit a crevice tool here, and you actually assemble your upholstery and crevice tool together like that. Snap that on there. So what you end up with is this. And this, when you're doing stairs, is actually really handy, because you can go do the edge of your stairs or in between the seats of your couch or something like that, and then snap on the upholstery tool. So there's a lot of logic to that, and it adds just a little bit of a want to it. So that's something I like, but would definitely take getting used to. It's definitely a quirk and a feature. Been interrupted by customers a few times. So the other thing that's on the body of this canister is you have these two rubber things, and that's so it can stand upright on stairs and not fall over. You have your on-off switch. This is just the main power switch. The actual on-off and speed control of the machine is right here. So that's nice. You have a nice swivel handle, and you can actually replace the socket by itself. That's kind of a cool feature with Sebo. Now what you don't get, that you get with other Sebos, is there's no taper hose. Just something to note. The other thing about Sebo is you notice there's this fabric around here, and they call this an air belt. And that's why you see the word air belt on almost every Sebo canister. And it is a replaceable furniture guard. And the reason that is so when you bump into furniture in your walls and stuff, you can just replace that. It's really a nice feature. It's easy to replace. Kind of a cool thing. Now, one quirk of this machine is it doesn't have a cord rewind button. It's like an Electrolux. It's not quite as picky as an Electrolux, but you pull it and it zooms in and out. And then it locks. So that takes a little bit of getting used to. It's a big quirk for me. Even though I grew up with Electroluxes, it locks kind of at a different angle, and it's a little bit more reactive than some of the old ones. You have a nice long cord. You have 25, 30 feet of cord or something like that in here. Now, the wand on here is metal on the bottom and plastic on the top. And that seems to not have been a problem, but it's just something getting a little quirky, and it locks on these marks. Also up here, we have the dusting brush. And the dusting brush on here is triangle shape and flexible. So pretty handy little dusting brush with natural hair bristles. So that's what's on the body of the canister. Now this canister, should show you, is just like pretty much any other modern canister. There's a bare floor parking tool right there. And you have a bare floor parking tool right there. Now when we get to the power head, if you're not familiar with the power head, this is an ET1 power head. I have several other videos on the ET1 power head. So let's start on the bottom side actually of the power head. So on the bottom side of this power head, you see this orange flap. This opens up so that you can pull anything out of there if you need to. There's a button on the side. Pull the brush roller off. The brush roller is actually dishwasher safe if you need to wash it, so that's kind of a cool feature. Really easy to change, no tools required. There's also no belt to change in this machine, so that's something I think is a really nice advantage to this. So the maintenance costs are a little bit lower than maybe canisters of before. Now, one thing that I'm kind of critical of is this has a manual height adjustment, which is great, but you can't actuate it with your foot. You do have to bend over or lift the nozzle up to you. It's light enough you can lift the nozzle up to you to change it. And the same goes with the release lever. There's no foot release. You are going to do that with your hands. And that's done more for durability is why they do that. Now what is actuated with your foot is your bare floor carpet switch to turn the brush roller on or off. And that is quite different from anything else on the market that I can think of. So I'm going to demonstrate that to you. So there's your bare floor. Perfect. Now, I've turned the suction down, so I want you to hear, if you lift it too high, the red light will turn on. You get it too low, let's say you stop it, or you jam something, that red light will flash at you. And you see that there's a problem. And here's how simple this is. Turn it off. Right back to life, no harm done. So as a technician, really like that. Now this has a bumper on the front of it. There's no light. That's kind of something I'm not. Wish this had a light on it. But that seems to be something that the Germans aren't too into. But it does have an L-shaped head, which allows this head, especially when you want to go around a corner, you can get around something. Or if you're going under something, you can go under it with that. So that's really makes it a little bit more maneuverable. Kind of like some of the old Electroluxes. So, I've been yakking about it. Let's do a pickup test. I'm going to go ahead and do that same test, but we're going to do it with the brush off, with the power head here. And we have limited bare floor available, but this is what we have. You can really see that it just picked everything up. Nothing left. Very, very clean pass. So that power head's super effective for bare floor. Let's go ahead and suck the rest of the stuff up. We're going to go ahead and try this with the bare floor tool that's supplied, which is a real old school style bare floor tool. And with this bare floor tool, you have to hold it at the right angle, or you can bottom it out or go up. It does have some nice wheels to it. It does have some nice natural bristles and some cutouts to allow the big stuff to go through. But Sebo does make a better bare floor tool that will snap on here if you're not satisfied with this. So let's see how it does. So, when I said a better bare floor tool, that sure did a good job. You'd be wondering why I would say that. That's because hair does tend to get caught in this. And the solution to that is when hair gets caught in this, if you don't want to buy that extra accessory, is that right there. You can just suck it clean with the nozzle. And it's came right clean. So that's really not an issue with this. Now, if you're interested in what the other bare floor tool looks like, I'll go ahead and show it since it's right here. And this is the parquet tool, available separately. What's cool about this is it just has one bristle. It also is self-leveling, so no matter what angle you hold this at, it maintains contact with the floor. And if you have a lot of bare floor, I'd highly recommend this. And I'll show you just how that works. So, let's give some fluff to this to give you an idea. Less of a pickup test, is more just showing you what this accessory does. So you can see that with the optional accessory on there, stuff just flies in there and doesn't get caught. So that might be something you'll consider upgrading again. If you have a lot of bare floor tool, I'd highly recommend upgrading to that. So we're going to do a different pickup test than what I usually do, but I think the results will show the same sort of stuff. So we have very fine sand, some coarse playground type sand. It's almost like cat litter, it's so coarse. And then we have some K-Ponk to demonstrate hair. And I didn't plan on making this video today, but I do have a B-roll going on. I've got my GoPro from my motorcycle hooked up to it. And you can see that did really, really, really well, as it should. But I'll explain to you. There we go. So we got a little bit of that coarse sand, not a whole lot, and that will come up with another pass. And the reason that happens is this carpet has this texture to it. So it's more of a carpet than the vacuum thing, but we're going to go ahead and suck the rest of that off. Talked about that it came with a standard upholstery tool. I was just going to demonstrate that since it is a little different, kind of how it works on the same method. So as you can see, the machine has plenty of power and airflow. So they have an optional turbo, but I would highly recommend trying this first because this is an excellent upholstery tool. Never talk about a canister without talking about its maneuverability, and I think that's extremely important. Because that's why you buy canisters, because it's highly maneuverable. And the thing about this machine is, of course, it's going to get really, really super low. But how does it maneuver around objects? This is really important. And you can see this machine maneuvers around stuff pretty well. It even goes over its cord particularly well. So if I haven't made you dizzy, that's how it maneuvers. Let's go ahead and vacuum a little bit more with this. Give you an idea how it sounds. Well, thanks for watching, folks. Please definitely like, comment below, subscribe. And if you want to get one of these, I'm going to put a link in the description below. And before we say goodbye, let's talk about rewinding this cord. Once you get the trick of it, rewinds just fine. So thanks for watching our Sebo K3 review video.